Hey guys, today we're going to make a video on the M1 Carbine. It's a 30 cal. It shoots, standard load is 110 grain, 308 diameter, and it'll usually run about 1900 feet per second. And standard magazine that comes with it is a 15 round. Let's make sure we're empty here. Totally empty. It's a 15 round magazine. Slide straight up into stock like that. Magazine release right there. Pushing it should fall right out. I can push it. And then later they came up with a 30 round mag, little banana like clip, whatever. These were originally came out for the M2. The M2 is the same version of this, except it's got the fully auto capabilities. And like I say, they'll interchange. And those are nice magazines. The magazines aren't real sturdy. They won't take a lot of abuse. But I mean, you can get them cheap, you know, 15 bucks a piece, whatever. And if you get the surplus ones, the ones that are used by the military, they're a little more expensive than that. But this is walnut. This is a PMC model. It's a Plainfield Machine Company. They were out of New Jersey. I think they were in business from 1951 to 1978. That's when these went out of production. This one, for what I could find information on, this was made from 1964 to 1967. Like I say, it's got a walnut stock. I think this is a aftermarket magazine pouch. You can put your magazines in it. It's a repop. It's not original. And then the sling, I think it's a repop. It's not original, but I mean, it looks good for the gun. I mean, this wasn't not a too terribly expensive gun compared to your Winchesters and Saginaw, your postal meter and all the expensive ones. Those, man, you can get some money in them dudes. This is just your standard little gun. We're gonna take this dude apart, and you can see on the M1 Carbine how the action works. Got the rotating bolt. This little gun came along after the M1 Garand. Everybody knows what the M1 Garand is. This is pretty much a copy to a certain extent. It's not an exact copy, but you can see the action of it. Very similar. It's got the rotating bolt on it. I guess you can see that it's got the rotating bolt. It's got the op rod on it, gas operated. Both of them are semi-automatic. Like I say, I just wanted to show you this, give you a comparison of what this evolved from. And I'll do a video at a later date on the M1 Garand, which everybody knows about the M1 Garand. That was a war horse for the Second World War. But anyway, we're gonna do a video on this one, and I'm gonna show you how to take it apart. Now the first thing we want to do is turn it over here. Now first of all, I want to make sure it's unloaded, unchecked at once. No magazine, nothing in the chamber. Turn it over here. We want to take our swivel or sling out of the way here. Turn it back over. Like I say, you can tell by looking at that screw, man, it's been boogered up. It's been taken apart several times. Loosen that dude up, but don't take it all the way out. Then you can look right there. We've got a little button you got to push in. Take a screwdriver, push in a little bit, and when you push in, you pull the band clamp forward just a little bit. Pull it just a little bit. Whenever you do that, it'll release the top part of your hand guard. Just lift up, go forward, it'll come out. It's got a little metal piece on the bottom of it, little lip that sticks out that goes under your barrel right there. It's got a little spot for it. And like I say, once you do that, slide your barrel band forward. You can lift up on your barrel just a little, slide it forward. The back of your barrel, receiver and all, has got a little groove in it right here. You can see it, little groove right there. And on your stock, you've got a little groove that it comes in. Like I say, it's got a screw where you can remove it, but there's no need to. Now what you want to do, turn this dude over. You can see right here you've got your op spring. It's an operating spring. It's got a guide rod inside of it. It's got a little hole right here. The spring will go back up into the receiver here. You want to hold it with your finger, pull it back, and once you get it back, lift up just a little bit, it'll come forward. Like I say, don't turn it loose because it'll fly out. Pull it back just a little and barely lift up. She'll come right out. That's your operating spring. Got a little guide rod for it. Lay that dude over to the side. This is a inland trigger group. That's what's stamped on it. Like I say, so many different manufacturers made so many aftermarket parts or surplus parts. You're liable to find a mix of parts on all the guns, but that's the way they were built. No single company built any of these guns. They were all, one company built trigger groups, one company done barrels, one company done op rods. It's just a whole mix of parts. They were short for time during the war, but everything's interchangeable. So what we want to do now, like I say, I've got the gun cocked, the safety's on. Here's the safety. But you've got two pins in it. You can see you've got a pin right here, then you got a pin right here. Don't take your back pin out. Your back pin is your hammer and your spring. Leave it in there. You want to take your front pin, push it off to one side, the pin will come out. Then you can lift up on your trigger group, pull it forward just a little bit. It slide right out. Like I say, just leave it in the top position. It's not going to hurt a thing. Leave the safety on. Don't mess with the trigger. Everything's good. Now what you want to do is turn this dude over. And what you've got here, you've got your bolt. It's a rotating bolt. You can see it rotate. It's got two locking lugs on it. One locks on this side and one locks in there. I'll show them to you in a minute. What you want to do, you've got a little groove right here. And what you want to do in your operating rod here, you've got a little groove too. Slide that dude down to where you get into the little groove, and then you want to lift out and up on the operating rod handle right here. And whenever you do that, of course you'll want to turn it down as you go. You got to get everything lined up just right. You want to lift up on your bolt. You got to get it out of the little groove. See how it snapped out? It popped right out. Now watch what I can do with the bolt. Slide back out of your way. And then what you want to do is line up your little groove. Well, let me take that forward. Let me go ahead and get the bolt out. It'd probably be better. You can slide the bolt forward just a little and pull it up. It should slide right up. See how I lifted it up? And it's got the firing pin on the bottom of it. You want to rotate it. You can find a sweet spot, and that firing pin will come right out from your receiver. Make sure your firing pin's loose. It's supposed to be loose. You hear it rattling. There's your two locking lugs. You've got a locking lug here. You got a locking lug there that locks in your receiver on both sides. Like I say, it'll slide like that, and it'll rotate down and lock whenever it shoots. Now what you want to do is come in here, line up your little groove, rotate it down. The operating rod will come right off of it. That's it. It's fully stripped down. You got your little gas piston here that whenever that operates, it puts just enough pressure on this to turn this bolt up, and whenever the cartridge fires, it'll move it through its cycle. And like I say, that's pretty much field stripped. Like I say, you can totally dismantle the trigger. There's no reason to do it. Good and clean, nothing's wore out. Now we'll put this dude back. Probably the easiest way to do it. Take your firing pin on your bolt. Put it down through your opening here. Aim that dude down. It'll go right down just like that. Lay it in place. Slide it forward just a little. It'll fall right in place. So what you want to do whenever you get ready to put your op rod handle on, put that back just about right there. Take your little groove. You can see on this far side there, this is just a little narrower than that groove is. You want to come back here in your little groove again. Line up your far side first. Put it in your little groove. Put it over the top of your bolt. Line up your little groove right there. Gotta hold your mouth just right on all of them here. Let me see if I gotta get to where I can see. See, that slid right in my little groove. I rotated it. My bolt's already locked. That's in there. I mean, it's simple to do. You just gotta get everything lined up at one time. Now you want to turn it back over. I like to go ahead and put my fire group back in, my trigger group. Your little groove lined up. You got a little groove right there, and you got a groove in the back of the receiver right there. Slide it in. Line that dude right up. Slide right in there. Line up your little pinhole in the top. And that's in there. And now you want to take your operating spring, put it back on your guide rod, put it back in your little hole right there. Slide your spring all the way up. It doesn't matter which way the other spring goes. Don't matter a bit. This goes one way. You on one end you got a little tit there, and it's a little heavy here, and this is the thin part. Slide that dude in that little groove right there. Like I say, this is where you want to be careful and not let this spring go flying. I mean, you won't hurt anything, but it just hurt your pride, I guess. Slide it back in there. Come on, baby, just a little bit more. Make sure that's all the way forward. I think that was a problem. I moved it back. Once you get it in place, wiggle it, and you'll hear it lock. Hold your hand up far enough away from your operating rod to hold your barrel, and make sure it works. Everything cycles good. Works good. Now what you want to do, slide your barrel band all the way forward. Remember your little groove back here. You got it in your stock. Slide that dude in under your little groove right there. Let that rest in your stock. Got a little groove on there, a little tab on your top of your handguard. It goes right in the top part of your barrel right there. Slide it in. It'll sit right in place. You can look at it and see how it goes. And then what you want to do, Lift up on your stock just a little so it'll slide in. Make sure this little tip goes under your ring. Slide it into it clicks. That's good. I mean, they're going to be loose. That's the way they're made. And then take your screwdriver. Snug it up pretty good. That should stop it from rattling most of the time. Take your sling here. Snap that dude back in place. And that's the story on the M1 Carbine. They're great little rifles. They shoot about like shooting a 410 shotgun, about what they kick like. Maybe even a little less. I mean, man, you talking about a fun little gun to shoot. They're not really expensive to shoot. Like say the 110 grain straight wall cartridge, it's probably more or less referred to as a pistol caliber carbine. Way underpowered compared to the 30-06. But I mean, you know, the stopping power it wasn't that good. But you know, people use this when they couldn't use the full-size Garand. If you were, you know, if you was a tanker or, you know, some kind of crew that wasn't on the front lines or didn't have room for M1 Garand, they would give you a 1911 Colt 45 caliber. And most anybody can tell you, rifle is so much easier to shoot, more accurate than a pistol. This is good probably out to about 300 yards, give or take a little more, a little less. And you take a 1911 pistol, 230 grain ball round. If you shoot 100 yards with it and hit anything, man, you're doing good. I mean, that's just, and that's for an experienced shooter most of the time. These are so much better to have. And they're great little guns. Hey guys, thanks for watching.